Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. As always, or at least about 98% of the time.
That's good.
Mr. Tate Mathews here. Every once in a while, they give Dr. Qualls a little TV. If he doesn't get a little TV time,
feels left out.
He's not happy.
But I don't ever remember being invited to Drone TV Weekly or the Drone Connection or Boxcar Derby Connection. I've never been asked to guest host. Have you?
No.
I kind of feel bad about that.
Don't even really know where I would watch it.
Yeah, well, it's got to be on social media somewhere, I'm sure.
Somewhere.
If not, that'd be a great addition for 2025, 2026.
If social media were available back when he was a youngster,
oh my gosh,
we would have a pick or two that
would be unbelievable.
It would be unbelievable. That's another story
for another day.
For another day. Tate, we got to get into spring sports.
Yes,
we got to talk spring sports.
Well, we've been dabbling. We've been dipping our toe in the water. We haven't totally not got in it, but it's time to immerse ourselves in spring sports. How about that?
We're going all in.
All in.
All in. Hey, but I do want to do this. We got a couple of things that happened that weren't spring sports that we need to get out there. Paul Derrick, Paulie D, stepping down as football head coach at Nolensville High School. Did a wonderful job there at Nolensville. I know the folks at Nolensville were really kind of sad to see him go, doing such a great job. 58-28 record as head coach, 26-9 in region play, including state semifinals. Made the playoffs every year as a head coach. And I think I'm going to say this right, except for last year, had a playoff win every year.
Strong.
It's actually incredible.
Yep.
Shout out Paulie D.
Great job, Paulie D, and will be missed. And yes, the Nolensville community was sad. I got some text messages from some pretty big Nolensville hitters. John Street, not to be confused with Mr. Street.
Don't confuse those two.
That would be Mark Street, the father. But just, he will be missed. Class, and they all say the same thing. Before they talk about what a fine football coach he was, they all talk about class act, first class man, what a leader, going to be missed. Josh Colbert of Performance Therapy reached out. So a lot of people reached out, and we're sad to see Coach Derrick go. They've only had two head coaches. Talk about shoes to fill, man. Whoever's next. Will Hester, Paul Derrick, the only two football coaches at Nolensville. So big shoes to fill, but it's a good place to work. And I don't speak for him. He didn't ask me to speak for him. But, for those that have not or don't know, it's all good. Paulie D is Coach Derrick is a Nolensville Knight guy. It was just time to do something else. But no ill feelings either way. It was just felt led to step down and going to pursue another chapter of his life. But there was nothing bad on Coach Derrick's side, nothing bad on Nolensville's side. It was just time for a change. It happens. Hey, you did it for a long time in basketball, man. That's a lot of long hours, man. Got two young kids. It's a grinding profession, right? I hate that word grinding, but it really is.
It is. Well, I know when I watch coach, I love coaching.
Yes.
And wouldn't mind having a team right now. But the part you get excited about is like big games, and then you think about all those things you have to do to be really good. The off-season stuff, the little kids camps, you have to do it all to have a real program. I think it's even more outside the season when you're talking about the things that you have to do to be great, and it is. Grinding, that's the proper word, Tate. It really is. And I got a feeling we're going to run into Paulie D sooner than later.
He won't be hard to find.
He won't be hard
He
to
will
find.
not be hard to find. He'll have a visor on somewhere, protecting. He's got the same haircut I do, which I've always found it comical. He wears a visor, but he'll have that visor on somewhere, protecting that dome, and he'll be coaching up, I would think. He's one of the best secondary guys around. He's great. He's real good at everything, but he's a really good secondary guy. So, anyways, but job well done, Coach Derrick.
Job well done.
And he filled big shoes. I mean,
And it's two guys that wore visors, so does the next guy.
Yeah, but Will has hair.
What
a full head.
I'm just saying, as the next guy, is that a no-low requirement?
Might be.
That you have to be listen, I love Coach Hester. Love Mimi who's watching. When I think visors, I think the original Spurrier.
Oh.
That's the OG.
The OG.
Of visors.
And then I hate to say it, but who do you think too? I know who I do.
I got to think.
Football
coach?
Yeah, I go straight to him.
Stoops.
Big
but
game
he
Bob.
was an assistant.
I know,
Spurrier.
I know, but right. I mean, there's a tie, but when I think visors, I see Spurrier in a Florida visor, not a Gamecock visor.
Others don't count.
And then I see Big Game Bob in a visor with an OU on it. That's what I think. And then I think the visor, Will Hester.
I think I want to wear a visor looking to play golf, but I want one of the tall boys, not that little thing. I want that thing that's like
a Spurrier Stoops one. Big Game Bob.
Hester wears the high top one.
It's a must. Like that, he doesn't get mad. He'll get mad over that. He wants it.
He don't want the little.
No.
Coach Derrick wears the.
Yes. Yeah.
He wears the shorty.
Correct.
Listen, you guys that watch. Hey, and by the way, speaking of people that watch the show, you and I were out at Independence a couple days ago, and we realized we've got another fan of the show. Tate, it's growing.
It's growing.
Angie Magnino, which, by the way, Miss Magnino, you're on the all-name team
100%.
in Wilco.
Not to be confused with Mangino, who was Billy the Kid's head coach at Kansas.
She works there in the front office, smiling face, loves the show. We appreciate you watching.
Miss Magnino, I had my driver's license every time. Appreciate you holding me accountable.
Hold him accountable. Let's jump into this. Basketball.
Hey, real quick, though. It's going to be fun to see who's the next head football coach.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah.
It will be.
Jay Graham is at Centennial now, new face. Who's next at Nolensville? I'm excited.
I'm excited,
I got
too.
some good candidates.
Basketball. We said we weren't talking about basketball. However,
4 letters.
we had the BCAT, Basketball Coaches Association of Tennessee. They had an all-star weekend at the end of the year. The reason we're mentioning a couple of things. Appreciate Coach Patrick Whitlock out at Ravenwood hosting that event. It's a big event for basketball across Tennessee. And we had some folks playing in it. Christian Brown played in it. Ella Ryan played in it. Mary Beth Fox played in it.
Tournament Tylen.
Tournament Tylen Lewis played in it. So it was a cool event. John Wild, friend of the show. He was there being involved. Jim McDowell, new friend of the show.
Yes.
Probably always been a friend of the show, but now he's kind of
actually admits it.
That's right. He's on the admitting train now. But and you were there. You had the high school sports Saturday live remote from Ravenwood High School.
Ella Ryan was on.
That's right.
She was great with Cortez Graham Howard. It was really cool.
Was he on the show?
He was on with Ella, the same segment.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, and
Hillsboro.
Yes, you were getting ready. You were which I thought was very cool. They hosted it at Ravenwood because Coach Whitlock, I think, is part of BCAT. And you want to go into that, or why was it at Brentwood? Just because y'all are good at doing that kind of stuff?
Well, they just thought it was a good location, and
it is,
and we were willing to do it.
You
mean city of Brentwood, Ravenwood?
Right, Ravenwood.
Don't do that to the Raven.
What did I say?
You said Brentwood, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, it was at Ravenwood. Yes.
It is the Battle of Brentwood,
according
to you.
Brentwood. They asked you to MC.
That's
right. Did a great job.
Do we need to?
That was no, not that part of it. That was great. But I'm building to that. So you MC'd it.
I did.
It was very great. But what was cool, High School Sports Saturday was there live on remote. And in the last segment, we had Ella Ryan and Cortez Graham Howard, who was the I believe BCAT Player of the Year in 4A. He wasn't the tournament MVP. I mean, he could have been, but I think Xavier Washington was But had them on together. It was so cool, man. Ella was awesome. Cortez was awesome. But what was fun was I asked him, like, who would win if we played one-on-one? And Ella basically said, well, I can't stop him, obviously, but she said, I'll take him out to three-point land, and I'm not so sure he can stop me. It was awesome. I'd love to see that one-on-one.
That's great.
It was really good, and we had more there, but it was Coach Wilkins coached. I don't know. I think you did mention that.
Coach
Tiger. There was so what they did this year, and then we'll move on, what they did this year, I loved what they did. They used to do like Class 1A and 2A versus D2 1A and 2A, and then 3A, 4A first D2 AAA, right? And how they did it. This year they
scrapped it.
They took 20 and 20. They taught what they. If you weren't on that first one, don't. It's still an honor that you were there, but if you didn't pick up on it, they took what they thought were the top 20.
Right.
Played a game, split them up, played a game. Next 20, split them up, played a game, right? And so I really don't know which ones it was, but there was Team Tiger, and he had his guys. Team Wilkins, he had his guys. And I think Tips coached a team, right?
He did, that's right.
So it was really cool. Everything about it was awesome except, I'm so spoiled here in Williamson County with the Wilcos and with Christian Taylor and Aaron Powers and the Wilco workout and everything. And I mean, Captain Backdrop. I mean, do we have time for this? Another show?
Another show.
It was teetering on the edge of a segment. We got to fix that.
If it's here again, we will.
It's going to be written in the fine print. And that is not our man, J-Mac. No, that guy. He reminds me a lot of you.
Backdrop or J-Mac?
Jimmy Mack.
Okay.
Not the other.
Well, let's jump into baseball. So BCAT was great.
It was great.
We enjoyed being able to host. Now, baseball. Listen, this baseball thing, Tate, and I think we should kind of look at the standings at the same time that we're looking at these series. So just a reminder, there will be 21 district games played. There's 7 3-game series. 8 teams, you play the other 7 teams in a 3-game series. Well, after last week, you still got Ravenwood sitting atop the league. However, they're at 7-2. Indy and Summit are both 6-3. Indy gets a 2-1 series win over Ravenwood. And look at those scores. To me, that speaks of the pitching. I keep talking about that in these series. 4-1, 6-3, 3-6. So that's a total of what? 9, 18, 23 runs in 3 games. They both have enough pitching.
Correct.
That's what that means to me.
Yes.
So that also leads me to believe that they're going to remain up there near the top, which we have both said. You talked about Indy. I've talked about Ravenwood kind of being back. They didn't go anywhere, but they hadn't quite been where they were with
Mr.
Teddy
Ray,
baseball. It's the truth.
The truth must be said.
We speak the truth here. Summit, they're also 6-3. They get a series win over Page 2-1. Again, look at that scoring. They gave up 0 in a 7-0 win. They lose 3-4. They win 2-1. They give up a total of what, 5 runs in that series?
Yep.
So pitching. You got to have pitching.
Got to have pitching.
Other thoughts about the standings and some of those results?
Go right under Summit. Brentwood
Started off 0-3.
Started off 0-3. Here they are 5-4, and Nolensville's 4-5. And a big part of that is Brentwood takes the series win over Nolensville last week, and that one was, golly, it was feast or famine until the 3rd game. 8-0 win for Brentwood, 7-0 win for Nolensville in game 2, and then it was 2-1. So a couple of things about that. I mean, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, Brentwood's in the cellar. Now here they are; they're all the way up to 4th, and talk about a tough league. Nolensville's in 5th place with a losing district record right now. That's a pretty strong district.
It is. Page also 4-5. I'm going to say this though, at the end, watch out for Nolensville because of experience, because of they've got some guys that were a little banged up.
Oh yeah.
Got some guys coming in from hoops that are just getting kind of at the end. Watch out for Coach Hudson.
Well, and we were at Nolensville late last week and talked to Coach Hudson. Said, "Hey man, Brentwood, how'd that go?" Da da da. He said, "Hey man, everybody's good in this league." He's like, literally, there's not a bad team. Anybody can beat anybody. He wasn't trying to be coach speak. He was just, that's the honest answer. Everybody can beat everybody. But they got a couple of horses that
They do.
They might have the two horses, and it's not a one game. It'll get to a point. That's another thing. Nolensville, wherever they land, when it's not a 3 game and it's a 1 game, they got the horse. So
You know what I kind of root for?
that's always nice to have that in your pocket.
You know what I root for in baseball? I guess soccer too. This is not to make our coaches stressed out. I want the season winner, which automatically qualifies for the region.
Especially now, you still totally agree with that, right?
Yes.
You win this 21 game win, you're through,
But here's what I want.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want the season winner playing in the district final. I want the district final to be 2 other teams where you have to win to move on. Because I think a couple teams should move on.
I kind of like it.
But I love the thought of, you know why people love March Madness, which we're in the middle of right now, NCAA? It's the best sporting event in America. It just is. And I think it's because, well, there's a lot of reasons. There's brackets, everybody understands that do or die thing. And everything else, not everything else, but you take professional basketball, well, it's a series.
Right.
We wouldn't necessarily have the same teams make it if it's all about a series. So I kind of like the thought of, hey, I'm in the district championship and I've got to win. That's fun.
No, I love it. I think that'd be a great.
That's fun.
What you said? Hey,
That does happen some.
You think you let's say you were tournament that would you get pushback on that? I think that sounds really exciting.
No, I'm saying it does happen naturally.
I know, but
You're saying don't even have them in the tournament?
well, I don't know because they don't want to go that long of a break.
So I asked this question.
But I think I like where you're going with
I
that
asked this question to Coach
because
Hudson.
depending on what's going on, it's had to have happened before. A district tournament champion, regular season champion, gets in that, and I'm not going to throw my guy tonight.
Right.
I don't have to.
So here's what
Why would I? I will save him for the next one.
Here's what Coach Hudson told me. I asked him this last year. I said, any thought about not playing in the tournament or doing what you said, once you know you've won, you kind of throw off because it doesn't matter? He said, actually, I try to keep it in order. I want it to be the same rhythm that we've had. But by the time you get to the final, because of attrition, I'm sure it does happen.
Yeah.
You've got to have a little more desperation if you know it's over.
Yeah.
So I like that. So that's why I personally root for it to be 2 other teams in the finals. I like the thought of we got to do it.
There's no doubt about it.
Anyway.
By the way, you mentioned March Madness. How's your bracket, real quick?
Well, the teams that I think are going to be that I predicted to be in the final are still in it.
That's good.
I had Houston to beat Auburn in the final. Now, both of those teams are underdogs, but it's close enough. You never know. Because Duke and Florida is what most people think is going to happen. What's your bracket look like?
Well, I've got 3 of the 4 Final Four teams.
Can I guess who you had that's not there?
Yes.
VFLs.
Yes. And the problem.
Great showing, though.
Great showing. So I've got 3 of the 4, and my bracket was good. My problem is that's who I had winning it. So I'm pretty much looking at 4th place at best.
I respect the loyalty. And congratulations on the Sweet 16 win over the Cats.
Thank you.
But
the Houston game was I don't know what's called. That was Popcorn City.
I saw that it was the least points ever scored in the first half of a Sweet 16.
Ever. 15. Chazzy, I think, went 1 for 15 in the first half. And that's his name.
I was like, it is his nickname?
Yeah. Chazzy. Do you know he played at Innsworth High School?
I did.
I didn't.
Somebody mentioned that. When I wasn't
Then he
totally
went to North
conscious,
Florida,
but
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's finish up with baseball. The
all right.
other series.
I tell you another one, though, too. Page, man, don't sleep on them. They're sitting there at 4 and 5. Technically, they're in 6th place. They just lost a series to Summit 2-1. But Page is another one. Page could very possibly finish in the top 4.
They could. Battle of Franklin last week. Centennial gets the win 2-1, so we've got Centennial at 3 and 6. Franklin struggling at 1-8. Now, the
But
games
they did get their first win. Maybe
their
got
first
that
win.
monkey off the back.
this week, you got Brentwood Indy.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that series.
Yes.
You've got Franklin Page. We're going to find out, really, if Page wins a series or gets a sweep, we're really going to be talking about Page next week.
Yes, sir.
Nolensville Centennial, and then Summit Ravenwood, another great series. So, man, baseball's got me kind of on the edge of my seat every week in terms of seeing what's going to happen. Softball, want to mention this. Nolensville, Page, both undefeated. Here's the thing that happens this week. Brentwood also, they're right there, 2-1. They've got one loss. Believe that one was to Page earlier. Nolensville plays Page and Brentwood. Those are the three teams.
Yes.
It's even though it's early, those are the three. Nolensville, Page, Brentwood. Everybody else, to me, is fighting for fourth. Maybe it's Indy, and plus coach's team, Indy, they seem to be one of those teams that's always better at the end.
End of the season. Yeah.
He's a veteran.
Oh yeah. He's in the. Is there a
Coach Buck.
BCAT? What would the softball coaches?
SCAT.
SCAT. If there's an SCAT, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
You're a fan of Coach Buck.
Oh, he's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer.
And a Hall of Fame dude.
But not to be confused with the Hall of Famer.
There's only one Hall of Famer. And was a great football coach.
He can coach.
Oh, man. He was a great football coach at Dixon County.
So we'll see with softball, but lots of things happen. I know you're a big fan because you keep talking about it. And shout out to first-year coach David Mason, what he's doing you're a fan of Marina Mason.
Well, of course.
You talk about her a lot, and you think that might be the difference at the end.
Come tournament time, man, because you don't have to have several, right? You need one. And so, but here, I thought this was pretty cool. I was
going to say, you got a little softball.
Yeah.
I give you credit now.
I was reading this week and I saw where and I do like this, I love it when they come out with this. They wait a few weeks and let it get into it. And then the Tennessean starts putting out their top 10 baseball, large and small classification, which that used to bother me, but I guess where you land on that.
So I will say this.
And softball, large and small classification.
In basketball, when I was coaching, and I feel like this faded a little bit at the end of my career, but certainly early on, always paid attention to the basketball top 10.
Of course.
Because they'd put the records and put a little comment. Like I remember we finally got in the mid-state top 10 at Beach. We were struggling to be one of those programs.
This wasn't your first year as head coach, though, right?
No, we might have been the bottom 10. So we're making our way, and I'll never forget. I bet I've got it somewhere. It said, Beach, record still counts, but they hadn't really played anybody. And I'm like, I don't think it was Tom. I think it was Jeff Lockridge.
Oh, that was way before Tom, wasn't it?
But
yeah.
No disrespect to him, it was right. But believe me, I was like, showed the guys, hey guys, congratulations, you're in the mid-state top 10.
Hadn't played anybody, but
Record still count. Hadn't really played anybody.
Well,
But I loved looking at that.
No, I meant, do you like that they split it up?
I liked it one biggie.
I did too, man. I mean, I get it, but talking about really mattering. You know what I'm saying?
I liked it.
And like I'm telling you, like number one is Green Hill, okay, right now in the softball top 10, and they should be. Number one in the small schools is Gordonsville. Gordonsville, if it was just one, Gordonsville would be in it. They wouldn't be one.
Right.
They'd be in it. They can play. Anyways, I was looking.
I would argue it might mean more to Gordonsville to be ranked in one of them. If it was
100%. It's that 9th, 10th in the small class that,
right.
they're beating up on, the sisters of the poor and
I'm with you.
Putting it on Twitter, X. Anyways, my point is, would you like to know how many of our teams we have in the top 10 large class in the very first bowl? That's right, 3. The 3 you mentioned. Page.
But that softball, that's good. I think we're better collectively this year.
Oh, no doubt about it. 3 are in the top 10. Actually, all 3 of them are in the top 5. Page is at 3. Nolensville's at 4. And Brentwood is at 5, and they were given some highlights. Anna Johnson of Page was 5 for 5, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, and 2 doubles last week as they were continuing that run. Addie Lichty, 2 for 3, 1 home run, 4 RBIs in a 12-0 victory over Franklin for the Lady Knights. And then, Marina Mason, throw out what she's doing with her arm. She had 2 home runs last night. And those 3, man, any one of those 3, maybe 2 of them can make it to the state tournament.
Don't at me. Jeremy.Qualls at WCS.edu. I still say the title goes to
Lady Knights, we know.
My man, Coach Patton. I do. You? Well, you're kind of picking Brentwood, I think.
Yes. I'm picking them, but I totally understand the step. But if I'm Coach Mason, I'm saying the same thing. Hey, ladies,
boys basketball
picks
results.
No, but what I'm saying is I agree. I'm picking Brentwood, but I'm with you. Even if I'm Coach Mason, I'm saying, hey, ladies, we're going to the state tournament. Just know we're going to have to go through Nolensville to get it, but we're going to.
Let's talk a little.
And while you say it, I still think baseball Titletown goes through Nolensville. I think they both still go through Nolensville.
Boys soccer. And I will say this, when I'm looking for a head football coach, I'm talking about all that.
Dang right.
Look at what we got going. Girls basketball, volleyball. Come on.
What are they any good at cross country and track there? Oh, cross country and track.
Oh, yeah. All of it. Boys soccer. Big showdown. Now, it looks like the 3 teams are going to be Franklin, Brentwood, Ravenwood in terms of the best 3.
Agreed.
Franklin and Brentwood played a tie, and I would argue that for first-year coach Calden Feldhouse, they felt good getting that tie. I think Franklin, people are expecting to be a little bit better. In fact, if you look at it, Franklin, both teams now still unbeaten. Franklin 4-0-1, Brentwood 5-0-2, which I hate.
Yeah.
I hate that. Now in the district, I found this out from Coach Burgoyne. He's my go-to when it comes to boys soccer at Franklin.
He's your soccer insider?
He's my guy. He was telling me that a win counts as 3 points in their standings, and then loss, obviously no points. A tie counts 1. So regular season, they just play 2 halves. Obviously in the tournament, it's 2 10-minute overtime periods, and then all the coaches hate it. I love it. The PKs. It's probably my lack of knowledge with soccer, but it's my favorite thing they do.
No, it's exciting.
It's exciting.
But guys, we just played, 140 minutes?
I've seen some soccer matches that would still be going on if they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, so it has to, more than any sport, a tie, like it's acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Like Franklin or Brentwood can go the rest of the year and only have ties, and that's considered an unbeaten season.
It's unacceptable.
I don't like it. I think we said it once. I don't think we got in trouble. If so, they can edit it out. But who was the coach? A tie's like kissing your sister. I mean, it's no good.
It's no good.
Franklin and Brentwood, we want to know who won, man.
I agree. Now, let me give you a couple items here. Brentwood's Michael Bowie scored a goal in the 67th minute to tie the game, which is where it ended. Scored on a deflection, so it happens. Wasn't an on goal. We had to do some education last year on on goal. But it kind of leads me, it doesn't even kind of, it does. It leads me to this week's gym. First goal allowed on the year for Franklin. Great defense, and listen, great name. He's the goalie. He's a junior. Sawyer Skelton.
It's pretty good.
I'm telling you, man, I love that name. And I do need to give a shout out too. Franklin's Tristiano Alfano scored in the 52nd. Another great name.
He's in too.
Gave him the 1-0 lead, but Franklin Brentwood ended up tying. Franklin here in a couple weeks has Ravenwood. I'm not sure where that Brentwood-Ravenwood matchup falls, but those are the 3 right now.
Yeah. Yes, and it's good for soccer when we want the other ones up there, but when Brentwood and Franklin are both really good, that's good for soccer. And man, talking about filling big shoes, Calden Feldhouse. We do probably a little bit, but not as much as any. But society uses the word legend way too much. Brentwood High has had 2 legends. Barbara Campbell is a legend, and Mike Purcell is a legend.
The late, great Mike Purcell. What a wonder. And you know what I think's interesting? They were buddies.
They were, of course. Been there long. You talking about Campbell and Purcell? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Miss Coach P, man.
Great dude.
But Coach Feldhouse is doing a great job.
He is. He really is. Hey, I need to do this too because we said we got to get this rolling. Lacrosse, Brentwood boys, 15-1 over Summit. On the girls' side, Brentwood gets a 20-6 win over Indy. Now,
picking up on something there.
My insiders tell me on that boys' side, we're talking the same Brentwood, Ravenwood, Franklin.
Correct.
Now we got Nolensville Page in different class. They got a shot too, obviously in their class. But if you're talking about the entirety of it, those are the squads. But lacrosse getting rolling. Now track. Scott Hartman relays this week. I know you're fired up about that.
Great event.
I think track, maybe more than any sport, has the coolest events. You've got the Wilco event that now our guy, Coach Manderfield, has gotten going.
Which will be next week.
That's right. We've got the grade 8.
They're back to back.
We've got the coolest events in track. I think they're like.
They do.
Wrestling does too.
Yes. Yep. But these are really cool. Plus, the sun's out for the most part. And, I mean, it is. You know, other teams they don't get to bring their whole team to the Scott Hartman relays. Like I don't know that it's a written rule, but it's kind of a written rule. Like,
hey, no non-dudes allowed. It's not what this is.
As Coach Adelot would call them, don't bring your pregame meal eaters. Okay, like we want the guys and the gals. We want the dudes. So but kind of like the Johnny Drennan, Father Ryan Invitational, the Hartman's Relays is and has been a measuring stick. Like you do well there, got a chance to be really good come the postseason. And the Wilco Relays has become that way as well. But and again, we talk about it every year, but go do a little
March
research
Madness. Is that the one at Ravenwood?
Yes.
I think they call March Madness. That's another good one.
And then it's not ours, but the grade 8. I mean, the top 8 teams, the top 8 performances.
That's the one.
I mean, think about that.
I don't like giving shout outs to others, but you got to give credit where credit. That's the one.
That's the one. It needs to come here, really, because we've been doing it.
Then it would be the greatest 8.
When it was at Vanderbilt, it was unbelievable. And then, of course,
the greatest 8 once it comes here.
It could be really special at one of our places. But again, it's just so cool when they all get out there and they're all really good. You know what I'm saying? And so it's going to be fun. We'll see. Brentwood, I still think they're kind of talk about the road still runs through. When we're talking track and field, it still runs through Brentwood, but it's going to be fun.
Hey,
get out there and check them out. I think they moved it up a day early because of weather. So,
and we'll get we'll get some tennis scores out there soon too.
No doubt.
Tate, always glad to have you here. Appreciate you being here. Looking forward to talking more spring sports next week.
Can't wait.
Thank you for joining us for Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.